Boom! Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage, Jeff Guru. If you like the video, subscribe, give it a like, hit the hyper button. Also, click notifications so you know when I go live. I'm going to drop 4 prospects later. I got 2 offensive linemen, a running back, and a defensive tackle. Today, we're just going to talk a little chat about heights and weights, or more likely the lack of them. Charlene Evans, boom. Good afternoon. Yeah, we got about 17 inches, and it's not so much that. It's just like the temperature's like in the single digits for like probably the next 2 weeks. So it ain't going anywhere. Amazing Creations, boom. Thank you for jumping in the chat. Anyone got any questions? Shoot them out. I'll do my best to answer them. Some heights and weights I'm going to give out. Also, tonight is the Shrine Bowl, I believe, 7 o'clock, either ESPN or the NFL channel. I'm sure you can probably catch it on YouTube. If you followed my channel, you'd hear me say 1,000 times, people play with roster sizes from high school to college to. So, perfect example, Alabama had an edge who I like and I still like, but not as much as I used to. His name was LT Overton. And he was listed at 6'5, 280. He measured in at 280. He weighed in at 280. 6'2". At that size, man, your probably best bet is putting on another 15 pounds, sliding into 3-tech. For the scrappiness, I did Vanderbilt and New Mexico State quarterback Diego Pavia. He has some issues, but now we know what they are. He was listed at 6 foot, like 210. And I said he's like 5'10 max. I was close. He 5'9". He's doomed. That's CFL. That's Canadian Football League height. Because listen, the kid can throw the ball. He can't see. He's not going to be able to see over his lineman. You're going to have to just basically roll him out to, let him get the balls downfield. I definitely think that he's definitely not getting drafted. Especially, like I did a video on him the other day. He just had like some little crazy off the field. Nothing crazy off the field. He just had like some tweets and some stuff at the Heisman ceremony. But listen, bro, there's the thing. I'm not saying he has it, but there's a thing in life. It's called the Napoleon complex. And it's a real thing, bro. And short dudes have it. Remember when we were all children, man? The cartoon of the bulldog, I think Spike the name was, and he had a little chihuahua running next to him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Spike? What's up, Spike?" And Spike was the big tough bulldog, and the little dog next to him, he was the one that was all crazy and stuff like that. But Napoleon complex is a real thing. And short dudes, they legit have that. And unless they can really back it up with their fists, or if they were wrestlers, or, know one of the martial arts, their mouths get them in trouble a lot. But also, too, I started dropping players May the 4th. And at nighttime, I've been doing maybe 3 a day, 4 a day. I've been going back, especially in the skill positions, and I've been dropping their 2025 stats. So it's ironic. All the players, like I said, I'm doing maybe 3 a day, 4 a day. I do that at night. But it's ironic. You can see some of the players I put out early in May and June, July, and then check out the numbers they had. How do I get so lucky? Yeah, LT Overton was a disappointment. Texas A&M has a linebacker. I did a video on him in the summer. Scooby Williams, 6'2". He weighed in at 217 pounds. I was bigger than that in 8th grade. That's safety weight, man. So, like I said, I'm going to go over some heights and weights. I'm going to take the shades off. Try to answer everyone's questions as much as possible. So we got a question about Colton Hood. Colton Hood as good as they seem him. Listen, listen, man. I said this before the Shrine game. I said this before the Senior Bowl week. And then also you have the legacy. There's kids out there with 7, 8 years of tape. Tape. Even though we'll be talking about some heights, lack of it, lack of weight, you still got to go by tape. But when you get to the NFL, there's going to be some people they're just going to mark off their boards. Alabama defensive tackle, not getting much talk about it all. I dropped him early. Tim Keenan, he probably lost weight to show up. He was 6'1", and I think he weighed in at about 331. He definitely played bigger than that at Bama, had some injury issues this season. He's going to be a day 3 steal. So I'm going to be just going over some weights, some heights. Any questions? Yeah, okay. LT Overton. Yeah, 6'2", 280. No bueno, bro. Edge, Alabama. TJ Parker, Clemson, edge. 6'3", I believe, like 268 he came in at. Max Irontor, offensive tackle, Arizona, 6'5", 325 he came in at. Just going by. Fernando Carmona, I really wasn't that big on him. Offensive lineman, 6'4", 318. Cameron Ball, did a video on him. He came in shorter, 6'3", 313. Mike Washington, did a video on him, running back, Arkansas. Little under 6'1", 228 pounds. He has the frame to be 235, 240. And he's going to be a top 10 running back. When I say top 10, I don't mean a top 10 overall. He's a top 10 running back. He's a sleeper, Mike Washington Jr. And actually, who turned me on to him? Cowboys Champ turned me on to him from Arkansas. Let's see. Names. Cage Casey, offensive lineman from the West Coast, 6'5", 309. That's interior. That's interior size. Another kid I like, but yet he's not getting a lot of love, is Boston College's left tackle, Jude Bowery, 6'4", 315. That's guard size. He's going to get thrown inside. He's going to get thrown inside to left guard. I'm gonna get to Jacob Rodriguez, but he's I said, listen, crazy productive, but I comp him to a kid from Oklahoma State a few years ago that Detroit drafted, Malcolm Rodriguez. But Jacob Rodriguez is very bro, he had great stats. He had a great year, but he's really, really small. SMall. Years ago, I'm talking about like, 40, 50 years ago, the Dallas Cowboys had a computer that was probably the size of a house back then, 40, 50 years ago. And unless you was a certain size, a certain weight, ran a certain amount of 40, it would not even consider you. As crazy as it was. And let's see, let's go to the top. Let's see. Yeah, TJ Parker, I spoke about him. Vincent Anthony Jr., Edge Duke. I'm really high on this kid. A shade under 6'6". He weighed in at, hold on, 246. Yeah, he needs another 25 pounds. He has the frame. Vincent Anthony Duke, I put his tape out there, and I even put tape of him out there battling some good offensive tackles. So, like I said, he has a shade under 6'6", 246. Eat, bro. I don't know what's up with these. A gallon of water weighs 7 pounds. Pound a gallon of water before getting on. I mean, but listen, as Michael Irvin once said, I don't care what you weigh, and I've said this too. I don't care what you weigh now. I care what you weigh week 17. Because some people gain weight, some people lose weight. I don't care what 40 you run. I care what 40 you run in the fourth quarter when you're down by 7 and your ass is dragging. 40 is very overrated. Caleb Banks, not getting the love he deserves. Defensive tackle out of Florida. He only played about 3 games this year with a foot issue. Came back this week is really important for him. Now, before the season started, he was listed at 6'6", 350. I'm going to tell you right now what he came in at. Not available. So, listen, there has been guys that have refused to be weighed. And there has been guys that have been refused to get their even height taken. Ted Hurst, wide receiver, bro. Everyone's blowing this kid up. Georgia State, right? He's the highest ranking wide receiver that has gone up. Everyone's calling him a third round pick. Yet Dane Brugler put him out a few weeks ago, a couple of months, like maybe a month ago. And I'm like, yeah, it's cute. I put him out in the summer. I even put him out last year. Who watches teams that go 1-11? I do. But Ted Hurst, wide receiver, Georgia State, 6'3", 207, really nice size. He can fly and he got hands. The Texans better go O-line. Yeah. You know, it is with the Texans, man. For some reason, man, you don't draft Ohio State quarterbacks. I wasn't a fan of him at all. And then he had his great rookie season, and I was Stroud. And then I was like, okay, I guess I was wrong. But he's kind of come down to earth. At Ohio State, he was just surrounded by talent. But if you flushed him out of the pocket, he had really crazy issues throwing on the run. Thought I was wrong about him. Now, I mean, but he's still a good player. But Ted Hurst, Tanner Kozlov, tight end. I believe he started at Wisconsin and he blew up at Houston. 6'6", 245. Now, there's a kid who put on some weight because he looked like he was about 225 playing. And he has the frame, Tanner Kozlov. He has to put on about another 25 pounds because he's gonna get you the catches, he's gonna get you the yards, but as of right now, he ain't gonna get you in the run block. He's gonna get you nothing in the run blocking department. But Harold Fannin didn't get nothing in the run blocking for the Browns. He had a good year. Isaiah Likely, Coastal Carolina, has been with the Ravens. He's like 6'2", 240. He ain't no run blocker, but he's a good pass blocker. So it seems like there's some teams that still love their 6'6", 6'7", 260-pound tight ends. And then there's some teams that are going to smaller guys. The mad scientist in me is always like, yo, you got to be able to do both, run, block, and catch. A lot of guys can't do both. Hold on. Jake Slaughter, center, Florida. He's a top 5 center. Very underrated. 6'4", 305. Nice size for center. I'm one of the few dudes that I do like my centers much, much bigger. Yeah, Zach Thomas, but you see, I love Zach Thomas, Texas Tech. Ironically, Texas Tech linebacker. Who drafted him? Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson drafted football players. But with so many defenses running the 4-2-5, they just like, it seems like they like, a lot of teams like the smaller linebackers that are more athletic. But then come the playoff times when it's bad weather and you're playing, a physical team, you're going to get destroyed. Who else? Let's see. Gave you Ted Hurst. I gave you Tanner Kozlov. Let's see. Who else? J.C. Davis, left tackle, Illinois. Not getting the love he deserves. I like him a lot. Let's see what he weighed in at. 335, shorter side, 6'4". It just seems like in the NFL, anything under 6'5" gets thrown inside. But J.C. Davis is underrated. Illinois' edge, very underrated, who I've loved since day one. Gabe Jackas, on the smaller side, 6'3", 260. I'm old school. I like my edges to be 6'5", 6'6", 265. That's a 3-down player. When you get these smaller cats, they're not 3-down players in the NFL. They're not. The Von Millers, the Micah Parsons, and even Micah Parsons wasn't a 3-down player. Those guys come once in a blue moon, but they still get run on. Von Miller was a freak, though, man. Jennings Dunker, Iowa's right tackle. I put him out in May. The kid is a straight up mauler. I'm afraid. Last year's Senior Bowl, all I got to tell you is the Giants coaches were there. They took All-American left tackles that didn't even allow a sack 4 years of college, and they were like, yeah, let's see if you can snap the ball. No, bro. So long story short, let's see what Jennings Dunker. Little on shade under 6'5", 6'4", 320. He might be looking at right guard, Mauler. If you're bored, watch Iowa versus Rutgers. I personally stopped counting his pancakes at 20. Max Lewenthal, edge, Iowa. Big kid on the bigger side, and he didn't come in big. 6'5" to 6'6", 255. I'd like to see him a little bit bigger. Iowa is one of the very few major colleges that run a 3-4. They also got another 5 tech, Graves. I can't wait to get to him. But Max Lewenthal, he was his advertised height. Let's see. Garrett Nussbaum, quarterback. 6'1", 202. Not the greatest height. James Brockemeyer, the U, Miami, their center. 6'3", 297. I have draftable grades on Francis Mulaga, Inez Cooper, their right guard, James Brocker, and their left tackle, bro. I think Banks, I think my name is. He's like 6'9", 340. I'll get to him. But 4 out of the 5 U linemen, they're going to get drafted. Hold on. Let's see. This kid is not getting a lot. Okay, there you go. See, Mikel Bell, he doesn't have his height weight listed, but I read he did show up at 6'9", 340. They just got to work on him staying lower with his hips. And worst case, he's a right tackle. But yet I put him out in the summertime. Nobody talked about him. Nobody, but I was. Linebacker Sonny Styles probably, yeah, that would really suck. Charlene, I'm seeing mocks with him going in the top 6, top 7, top 8. I'm seeing mocks. Let's see. Another kid who really ain't getting a lot of love, but he's a sleeper, is Rashawn Benny, defensive tackle, Michigan. 6'3", 300. Edge. I call them the Moore brothers, but they're not brothers. There's a kid, Derek Moore from Michigan. I'm going to get to him. And then Texas has a Trey Moore. Derek Moore is a very, very, very sleeper edge rusher. A little under 6'4", a little so he's between 6'3" and 6'4", 255. All right. Played in the Big Ten. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you guys think is more impressive? A guy getting, let's just say hypothetically, 6, 7 sacks in the Big Ten, where besides Ohio State and Indiana, it's mostly a running division, versus a guy getting 7 sacks in the Big 12, where they don't play defense and all they do is pass the ball 1,000 times a game. What's more impressive? Let's see. Zion Young, Missouri. 6'5", 262. He's going to shoot up the board, man. He's going to shoot up the board. Sion Sloan. I did a video on him the other day. 6'3", 240, edge. I wish he could be a little bit bigger. Malachi Fields, sleeper. Spent 4 years at Virginia. Transferred to Notre Dame. He didn't, statistical wise, he didn't have the greatest season. He's a sleeper to me. 6'4", 220. I like him a lot as a sleeper. Ethan Awanawa, Ohio State. Stay away. Stay away. Do not go near any Ohio State offensive lineman. Now, check this out. I'm going to be talking about, and a lot of people are talking about this kid, and to me, he's straight Bazura. I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing his name. And he's Ohio State's corner, Davidson Igbinason. Great size, 6'2", 192. They have to make this kid practice with boxing gloves on because that's how much he holds. In 2024, he had almost 20 flags thrown at him. He had almost 20 penalties in 2024. Got it down a little bit better in 2025. Very athletic. My opinion, this is just me. I put him inside the safety. Running back who's been around a million years, Jaden Ott, got injured this year. 5'10", 202. but he did absolutely nothing this year. Let's see. Like I said, these are not all the heights. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this kid right now. Not getting the love he deserves. Oregon linebacker Bryce Botecker. He's old school, bro. He wears one of those big ass neck guards, which I don't know why guys don't wear them. I don't know, man. It just seems like kind of normal. Doesn't let your neck go back. My era, you'd wear it underneath your jersey. It would actually make you look bigger too, but bad. Yo, I had one with a giant ball in the back. You would see kids from like in college with three balls. They would have the ball in the back, ball on each side. It just, I don't know. It just seems like, and I could be mistaken, it just seems like the kids that wore the neck guards 30, 40 years ago, it just seems, or maybe we didn't hear about it as much because there's no social media, they had less neck issues. So Bryce Botecker, little on the short side. Uh, he's a shade under 6'1", and he weighed in at 227 pounds, linebacker, Oregon. Now, that's a kid right there. He's day 3 all day long. Bro, he plays bigger. He doesn't care about CTE. He don't. He'll come and he'll lay you out. I'm much, much higher on him than a lot of other players. Nick Singleton, running back, Penn State. 6 foot on the dot, 221. Elusive. Will run your ass over. Crazy underrated coming out of the backfield, catching the ball. His brother, but I don't call him, I call him the Bash brothers. One's Bash, one's Slash. Katron Allen. I've been dropping videos on Nick Singleton and Katron Allen for 3 years. Katron Allen, I know he's going to be on. No, see, he came in a little bit taller. 5'11", 220. He played more. I think, in my opinion, I think he played a little bit more than that. I don't care. Katron Allen, Penn State, he had a bad year. He only had like 15 touchdowns on a team with no quarterback and no passing game. Same thing, Nick Singleton. They both had great years, considering that Drew Allar, who sucks, he got hurt. No quarterback, no passing game. Coach gets fired. So no one's talking about those kids. I don't know if like they're just trying like we're in a world where if no one talks about them, the other teams are not going to draft them, man. I don't know. Another kid is a 3-tech, Penn State. Zane Durant, not the greatest size, but he gets upfield. He's between 6 foot, 6'1", 290. He weighed at. He's a good 3-tech. Little on the small side. Now, here's a kid who definitely hit the effing hit the buffet bar, and he hit the weight room. And I love this kid, and I've talked about him before on Blog's channel, and I've done millions of video on him, and he's Penn State's edge, Danny Dennis Sutton. 6'5", 268 pounds. He was probably playing at like maybe 245, 250. He has the frame. He's 270, man. You're 268. You're one sandwich from 270. He has the frame to be 280, 290. See, that's how I like my edges. Like that. And he gets sideways, bro. Crazy first step, fast. I like to see what he runs at the combine. I didn't think he was going to come in at that weight, so I'm really excited about that. Penn State got another top 10 safety. It is a great safety class that stretches all seven rounds. Zakiya Wheatley, Penn State. Let's see what he came in at. 6'2", 201. He came in as advertised, bro. Carolina, Luke Kuechly. Yeah, he wore one. I don't know if you remember, Charlene, I'm telling you, bro, you know more about football than like 90% of these guys with channels. Luke Kuechly, man, he had a really bad concussion on the field. And legit, like he was crying. He didn't know where he was, man. Concussions they're real, man. But Zakiya Wheatley, I like him a lot. Another corner that's not getting the love, Chris Johnson, 6 foot 190. Jeffrey Maybar, defensive tackle, SMU. I probably pronounced his name wrong. The only issue he has is he's like 26 years old already, but he's like from France. So I don't know if even you can get away with not drafting him. And I don't know if he qualifies of that. You know, the NFL has that program where if you're from another country, you don't count against the team. So he might find his way onto a roster that way. Or since he's 26, if you're a couple people away, let's see. 6'5", 316 he came in at. Was expected. He has the frame to be 340, legit. But he's 26. He just needs to eat more. Let's see. A kid that's not getting a lot of love either. I feel I sound like a broken record. Safety. It's a crazy safety class. And everyone I'm talking, I've done videos on everybody. Jalen Kilgore, South Carolina. He's a shade under 6'1", 220. Plays much bigger. He lays you out. Running back Rasul Faison, he decided not to get any stats done. Even at the Shrine Bowl practices, there was kids that refused to get weighed. The Godfather, Dante Corleone, he refused to get weighed. But ironically, when he was at Cincinnati, when he first came in, but it's normal. You get bigger as you get older. He came in at like 6'2", 6'3". He came in at 6'5". He was 6'5", probably like 370, 380. My opinion, played in the wrong division. He should have been in the SEC, ACC, Big Ten. He's just a big run clogger. But he has 17-inch. He wears 17-inch sneakers, 11-inch hands. He's a freak, and yet he played in the Big 12, which is a passing division. So I just think, but it is a crazy one tech, so that's going to slide him down. It's going to slide him down. Let's see. Bud Clark, safety. Going off the top of my head, man. I think TCU. I'm just going off the top of my head. 6'1", 185. I wish he could have been a little bit bigger. Colton Hood. Let's see. Here we go. Colton Hood, 5'11", 188. Don't hate me because I'm a Cowboy fan. I don't want any corners. We got to take it on the chin, and we got to build the front seven, and we need 2 safeties. I'm getting into a safety right now. Michael Taffer, his name is. He plays for Texas. Former walk-on. He was a baseball player at Texas. And then he walked on. He did that, and then he walked on the football team, became All-American. If I can comp him to somebody, he's an athletic Bill Bates. But he's not going to he's not going to test great. He's not. But there's videos out of him of some big running backs, getting their best of him. You're not going to kill everybody. You're not going to beat everybody. But what I love about Michael Taffer, safety Texas, the most, and I've put videos of him out there, This kid hates to lose. Hates to lose. He's a sore loser. Doesn't keep, plays bigger than his size, and he came in at a little under 6 foot, 193. Corner, Malik Muhammad, 5'11", 183. Levon Moss, running back, Texas A&M, when he was healthy, played good. Let's see what he chose not to get hot. He chose, nah, we're not. You're not weighing me. You're not. So he's probably not even going to play. He might not even be healthy. We're going to find out about it's going to come out the combine of what they say about Levon Moss, running back, Texas A&M. But if he is okay, healthy, someone's going to get a day 3 steal with him because that kid can fly. Trey Zoon, Texas A&M's left tackle. Loved him. Let's see. Banga bingo, 6'6", 331. Very, very underrated player. Charlie, if I owned the NFL team, thank you so much. Listen, it's crazy. I've been doing this since I was a kid. I was just always intrigued in this, but then I played, coached my sons, and I hate baseball. I hate basketball. Soccer, I'd rather watch paint dry. Football, boxing, MMA, wrestling. That's it. Here's my guy, Scooby Williams, man. Linebacker, Texas A&M. 6'2", 217. Bro, come on, man. Eat. That's safety size, man. Hold on, man. That's going to knock him down a lot. Wide receiver, Reggie Virgil. Nice size. Almost 6'3", 188. Let's see. Another kid, I'm actually going to put a video out on him later. But Texas A&M's right tackle, Demetrius Crownover. I've done Texas A&M's left tackle, Trey Zoon. They got a left guard that's getting a lot of hype. I think their right guard, Amandre Reed, bigger, and he's the better of the guards. But Demetrius Crownover, Texas A&M, right tackle, very, very, very underrated. A shade under 6'7". He's like a shade under 6'7", 331. He played at 350. There's some kids that want to lose for the scale. Other kids want to get bigger. Scooby Williams was a disappointment, man. Come on, man. You can't. You can't. Let's see. Like I said, that's not everybody. That's just who I got. I knew Diego Pavia was much smaller. Did I think he was 5'9"? No. That's CFL side. He ain't getting drafted. He ain't. Tim Keenan, no one's talking about him. Injured, 6'1", 333. He probably played closer to 350. Alabama, no one's talking about him. Alabama had another defensive tackle. Keenan had some injury issues, and then they had another kid, Tim Smith, injury issues. He transferred to Ohio State. He stayed in, transferred to Ohio State. It is, when all is said and done, I will have dropped probably 250 defensive linemen. It is a crazy defensive line class between you. Okay, I wish the edges were bigger. There's not, and this is why Keldrick Fork, Auburn, 6'5", like 270 ish, he's probably going to be the first edge taken because he has that prototypical NFL size versus, oh man, I don't see NFL teams taking a 6'3", 6'2" edge in the top five. I don't. I see them looking to trade out of that or maybe going offensive line. Awesome right tackle class. Awesome right tackle class. And I've said that since May. I like the guard class. I like the center class. I gave you Slaughter, Florida. Logan Jones, Iowa. Beast. There's another kid. He's played on a million different schools. Bryce Foster. He's like he played for A&M. He played for Kansas. He's played for a million schools. He's like 6'5", 330. I question though his love of the game. This year there's some big Brockemeyer, nice size. There's some really big centers. It is a horrendous left tackle class. To this day, if there's a left tackle taking in round one, I think it's a reach. And probably the number one left tackle is that kid Fleming, Monroe Fleming, I believe his name is, from Georgia. He needs to get bigger. So, like this draft, you're going to see round one. We're just going to talk, and it's a horrendous quarterback draft. You're going to see Mendoza and Simpson. After that, who knows? Running back, I got one running back, Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame. Shitload of safeties. Excuse my language. Load of DTs. A load of big. You're going to see some big one techs go round one. It's not a good corner class. It really isn't. What I say is there's not a lot of great ones. Great. That's a tough word. There's really not a lot of really good ones that justify that first round grade and, the top 10 grade. Crazy underrated wide receiver class. I'm telling you, bro. The first 3 rounds, don't be shocked you see about 7 wide receivers go round one. Very. It's early. I got Cornell Tate, Ohio State, my number 1 wide receiver. Then I got Jordan Tyson, if he could stay healthy. Ironic, back in the springtime, I said Denzel Boston, if he could just, stay healthy and do what he's doing. All 6'4" of him. He's going to be a first-round pick. Very underrated wide receiver class. I think out of all the positions, tight end is the worst. A lot of people are going to talk to you and say they're going to try to convince you into saying Kenyon Sadiq, Oregon. I personally do not have a tight end with a round 1 grade. That's just me. Round 1, you're going to see a load of right tackles, a load of defensive, the D tackles are going to fly because that's where the value is. Linebackers are going to, like when I say linebackers, I'm talking, Arvell Reese to me is an edge from Ohio State. When I start talking linebackers, I'm talking the Sonny Styles, C.J. Allen, Georgia, Smith, I believe, Texas. I could see where I can see 4 linebackers. I can see 4 off the ball linebackers going round 1, which is rare because it seems like the NFL have devalued. Then I also think once you get in the 20s, you're going to see you might see your first center come off the board. And then I also think you're going to see a lot of people looking to get out and trade back. And then there's a couple teams like The Colts don't have a first round pick. The Jaguars don't have a first round pick. So there's the teams with no first rounders. They're going to be looking to come up. Could you? Colts don't have a first round pick 2026 and 27 for Sauce Gardner, but I can see Jaguar being Tony Khan, his not the senior, his son owns AEW, but I could see him trying to be like, trying to trade up. Let's see, man. Safeties, very good safety class. The corners are going to go early. I've been saying the running backs are going to go round 3. I can see them starting to go 2. Crazy, crazy deep safety class. Crazy deep safety class. The bigger edges are gonna go sooner. But then again, man, a kid I love, I gave you Anthony Vincent Jr. from Duke. Great size, bro. If you just went on his analytics, he would be a late round 1 pick. All it takes is one person to fall in love with you. Danny Dennis Sutton. Do I have a first round grade on him right now? I don't know. I think that as much as I love him, I'm real. I think round 1 might be rich for him. Even when I do fantasy football drafts, I'm all about value. I'm crazy, but that's what it is. You're going to see some, which in years past, a lot of 1-techs have been devalued. You're going to see them go round 1 because they're just the better players. You're going to see some 3s. You'll listen. No matter how bad of a season he had, you're going to see Peter Woods, Clemson go round 1. Yet he has day 3 tape for 2025. If you want to watch his tape, 2024, but 2025, he has day 3 tape. So I don't know. That's what happens when you read your own draft hype. Was he injured and they're not telling us? I don't think so. Same thing with TJ Parker, Clemson's edge, 6'3", 260-ish. I think he was 268. He had 5 sacks. The problem is 4 of them was 1 game, and it was like at the end of the year, the next to last game of the season. He played horrendous. TJ Parker has day 3 tape for 2025. 2024, different. But now, if you're going to feel comfortable now giving this kid a giant bag, question marks. You're going to see Bain go up there. Do I think Bain is undersized? Yes. Do I think Akeem Massador is undersized? Yes. But Akeem Massador was older. If anyone does, listen, Massador and Bain are not 3-down players. Go back, and I'm a U fan. I'm a Miami Hurricane fan. Go to Miami versus Ohio State. They pretty much, both of those kids had to take off like the 3rd quarter. They were just worn down. And Ohio State's offensive line, straight garbage. Garbage. They went out in the portal and got like 17 left tackles and just threw them out there. And then a week before the season, they moved them everybody around again. Then the following week, Ole Miss, they got Diego Pounds, the left tackle, huge individual, and their right tackle, who I broke down also too. You didn't even hear if you Bain or Massador when Miami played Ole Miss. If you watch the game, and at the end of the game, you told me Bain and Massador was not playing, I'd be like, I believe you. Is that going to be the thing when you're going against much larger physical guys? And listen, granted, they played extra games. It's the collegiate playoffs. But if you're wearing down that bad in college, we all heard of the rookie wall. But, when you're 25, 26, I think kind of that rookie wall shit has to go out the window. But if you're wearing down in college, what's going to happen in the NFL? Am I just being overly hard I'm just talking facts, man. And I like Bane. Some people calling him a top 3 pick, not in my world. And then people talk about pressures. This is, I think, day 3. I got to go tweet it. Watch film, not stats. Shamar Stewart last year, I think he had what, 3 sacks in 4 years. Texas A&M went to the Bengals, had a contract issue. First guy off the bus, but he was just, they took him because he had like 50 pressures his senior season at A&M. Contract issues, he did jack shit this year. But when I think of stats, I'm showing my age. And don't take it personal. I hate Joe Montana. I hate him. But the catch with Dwight Clark, first of all, he was throwing the ball away. But long story short, he had Randy White and Ed Too Tall Jones in his face. So that was a pressure for Ed Jones and Randy White. Randy White, Hall of Famer. Ed Too Tall Jones deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. But yet, that pass was still completed. Was it the last? Everyone thinks that was the last play of the game. It wasn't. Dallas got the ball back. Danny White fumbled, marching down the field. But that was a pressure. San Fran still went to the Super Bowl and beat Cincinnati. Dallas would have destroyed Cincinnati. So when people like, now I'm seeing like when it comes to the stats department, splash plays. Stay off Twitter, bro. Stay off. I'm like, what the fuck is a splash play? I think of a slip and slide, like when we were little, like stats go out the window, people. Watch tape. Tape. Listen, I personally don't care if you're an inch shorter or maybe 10 pounds lighter. We can work on the weight. Listen, we could put you on a medieval rack and stretch you. We're not going to get you taller. But there's many guys that play much bigger than their size. It's called heart. Then there's guys where the frame comes of the phrase, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. Anyone remember the great Braylon Allen when he came out of Wisconsin a couple of years ago? And I was like, he was a top 10 running back for me, but I'm like, the kid looks like Tarzan, played like Jane, 6'2", 240, never ran one person over in his life. Jets took him, I think, round 2. He's been on the side of a milk carton for the last 2+ years. So it is what it is. We're going to learn a lot more the next couple of days. But like I said, the actual game and the practices, take it with a grain of salt, because there have been kids preparing since November 1st for this game. And there's been other kids that played a game 2 weeks ago. So who do you think is healthier? Who do you think is less injuries? Who do you think is more prepared for these practices? Don't forget about these practices. So if you got 4 years, 5 years of tape on somebody, you're going to let a couple of reps switch your rankings? Not for me. Combine completely medical. I care about first 10 yards. If you have the speed positions, even the 40-yard dash is the most overrated stat there is. Perfect example is South Carolina wide receiver Nick Highball. He's 6'5", 230. He can qualify for the Olympics. He would win a gold medal in the Olympics. Has right when he can't. He's coming back. He didn't come out. He's going to come back for another year. Hands like rocks. Can't catch shit. But his people don't want to realize there's track speed and there's football speed. Don't get me wrong. You know there has been an gold medal sprinters that have transferred into the NFL. There also has been a lot of them that haven't. I'm showing my age. Geraldo Nehemiah, he won like the gold medal. Tried out for he played in the NFL with the Jets and a couple of teams. He don't want to go over that middle, get hit. Oh, this guy's like Ronnie Lott back then. I'm talking 30 years, 40 years ago. Killers. Guys like Jack Tatum going to take my head off. Nah, no thanks. But Nick Highball, wide receiver, South Carolina, is a perfect example of track speed does not equal football speed. Just going to throw two of the best wide receivers ever played a game. Michael Irvin, Jerry Rice. They ran like 4.7s, bro. Every single year, let's be honest, the fastest wide receiver in the NFL at the combine. Everybody's like, yeah, he just broke this guy's record. He's doing his tweets like this. Yeah. And you never, ever hear about him after he just broke the record. He's the fastest wide receiver at the combine. And you never hear about him again. You need hands. You got to go over the middle. And you got to have heart. To me, and the older I've gotten, combine is strictly medical. That's it. Tonight, East-West Shrine game, 7 p.m. I think this weekend, it's this weekend, I believe, or next Monday is the Senior Bowl game. Then also at the end of February, we have the HBCU's Legacy Bowl. How ironic! I dropped a kid last year from Morgan State, Elijah Williams, a local kid. He didn't get invited to no Senior Bowl. He didn't get invited to no combine. 6'3", 270. He made the Minnesota Vikings. Had like 9 tackles, only played in a few games. Busted up his ankle. They threw him to IR. Throughout, people don't realize, and these are a lot of the young cats, football existed before we were born, before you were born. So you gotta, but then also too, and I'm sorry, and I hope we can agree on this, you can either turn on a computer or turn on YouTube, and the person you see talking to you, right off the bat, I'm pretty decent. I would like to think at reading people. Never played a sport. I can look at somebody, never played a sport in their life. Never had a fight in their life. I can look at somebody and I know where I'm getting in I'm jacked up and I got to get into a fight. That guy's running the other way. Then there's some people that do surprise you. Then there's the big for nothings. The guys that are 6'6", 270, straight CUNTs, straight. I would tell them, you're in the wrong profession. You should be a nurse. Nothing wrong with nurses, bro. They're making way, way, way over 6 figures. They're making close to $200,000. A lot of these nurses, RNs, LPNs. Be a librarian. Let's just say I had physical jobs my whole life, but when I would see dudes that big and they would be just straight up cowards, I would question God for making me, only making me 5'10". I sound like Uncle Rico in what was that, Napoleon Dynamite? Did they make a time machine? I've already looked into it. Cool. That's Tony Romo. That's what I think of Tony Romo. He sucks. Uncle Rico. Tonight, Shrine Game. I'll be giving you some, check that out. Take it with a grain of salt, also too, because kids have had a couple kids. If some kids have had 3 months to prepare for it, other kids have had 2 weeks. I'm going to be dropping 2 offensive linemen, a 1 tech, and a running back. Because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, full life. Charlene, thank you for jumping in chat. Amazing creations. Thank you for jumping in the chat. Like I said, also too, when I started dropping people May 4th, I've been going back a couple of guys a night, and I'm putting in their 2025 tape and their stats. How do I get so lucky? How? I just work at it hard. It's not luck. Because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, over and out.